Hey, Crystal here from Crystal Design. Today we're crocheting this simple slouchy beanie in men's size. Now this pattern also includes sizes for babies as young as 0 to 3 months all the way to medium and large adult, so I'll give you all the info for those sizes as well. Check the description for all the details to this video. Okay, for materials we are working in number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. I have here a Lion Brand's Heartland in the color Mount Rainier. Then we're also working with a 5mm US size H8 crochet hook, and you'll need your yarn needle, scissors, measuring tape. Now the yarn we'll need for the baby size is 124 yards, 3 to 6 months, 131 yards, baby size 6 to 12 months, 138 yards, toddler size 145 yards, preschool size 150 yards, child size 153 yards. For teen small adult size, you'll need 160 yards, and for the medium large adult, the one I'm demonstrating here, 165 yards of number 4 yarn. For this pattern, we'll be working in the round, so I'll start with a magic circle, sometimes known as a magic ring, and we'll work primarily in double crochets around, and you can finish your hat off with single crochet stitches. I'd love for you to check out the blog post for this video. The Simply Slouchy Beanie is a free pattern with all sizes on my blog, christicodesign.com. Now when crocheting hats and garments, you'll need to be sure to check your gauge. Gauge is how we know if your item is going to turn out the same size. So for projects in the round, like hats, I like to give the gauge in rounds. Rounds 1 through 3, if you measure across a circle, measure 3.75 inches. Now if yours is too big or too small, I can link up a tutorial on how to adjust your gauge for that, and you can change your hook size up or down to help you there. Okay, we'll be starting with our magic ring. If you're unfamiliar with the magic circle, you can also chain 3 and slip stitch the first chain to form a little circle that you'll work into. I'll demonstrate the magic circle for you now, and I can also link up a video tutorial for you in the description. Since we're working in double crochet, we'll start with 2 chains to get us up to height for double crochet stitches. Now we work 12 double crochets into our magic circle. We need to be sure to work over both these strands here, our tail and the inside of our loop we're working on. So we're going to place 12 double crochets inside the circle. You might have to pull up your loops a little bit to make them loose enough to go over both. Okay, that is our first stitch. I highly recommend, if working in the round is new for you, that you mark that first stitch with the stitch marker. We'll continue placing double crochets in the magic circle, going over both the tail and the circle loop all the way around until you have 12 double crochets. Once we get all the way around, I will show you how to pull it closed and join your circle. Okay, I'm just going to take a second here to mark my first stitch and show you how to pull closed our magic circle. Remember, those first 2 chains don't count as a stitch, so we're marking the first actual double crochet that we made. That helps me really identify which loops to work into on my next round. Okay, find your yarn tail and pull while holding onto your work, and it should slide closed. Now we're going to join our round here, round 1, with a slip stitch to the top of our first double crochet, which we marked with a pink stitch marker here. Okay, and then at the end we'll weave away that tail end nice and securely. Now we're going to begin round 2 for our hat. And here I'm going to demonstrate a chain 3 alternative. You're welcome to start with a regular chain 3, but this is my preferred way to start double crochet rows and rounds. And I'll link that tutorial up for you as well if you'd like a more in-depth look. For round 2, we're going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch around. Our beginning chain 3 or alternative counts as our first double crochet, so I marked it. Now going back into that same stitch, place our second double crochet. Now in the next stitch we're going to place 2 double crochets and continue that around until you have 24 double crochets, and then I'll show you how to end round 2. Alright, we're at the end of round 2 here, and I want to show you close up how the last stitch of the round looks. Sometimes we can get confused between the last stitch of the round and that slip stitch, which is a tiny little thing there. I tighten mine very tight so that I don't get confused, and using the stitch marker helps. 2 double crochets in the last stitch. Then we're going to join our first double crochet, which we marked with the slip stitch. Start round 3, we'll begin with our chain 3. I'm using the alternative chain 3 here. And we'll place a double crochet in the next stitch and a second double crochet in that same stitch. So we have 1 double crochet in the first stitch, we'll mark here now, and 2 double crochets in the next. So we'll continue that as our pattern. Double crochet in the next stitch, then place 2 double crochets in the following stitch. Repeat that around. You'll end with 2 double crochets in your last stitch. Okay, here we are with 2 stitches left in our third row. So we have 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then in our final stitch we'll place 2 double crochets. We'll end with 36 double crochets total. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 3 completes the number of rounds we need to increase for the baby to 3-month size hat. Across your circle should measure about 3.75 inches, and then you go on to the next step. If you're making a larger hat, continue with round 4. For round 4, we'll start with our chain 3 alternative. Then we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. In the following stitch, we're going to place 2 double crochets. That will be our repeat. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets in the next stitch. I'm going to finish off camera here, and then I'll meet you at the end of this round. Here we are at the end of round 4. We have 1 stitch left to work into, so we'll place 2 double crochets there. You'll end round 4 with 48 stitches. And then slip stitch to join the round. Now your circle should measure about 4.75 inches to 5 inches. And this is where you stop increasing for sizes baby to 3 to 6 months, baby sizes 6 to 12 months, toddler sizes, and preschool sizes. All those sizes can move on to the next step. If you're making child, teen, or adult, you want to increase the next round. So we'll start round 5, and for round 5 we are going to start with our chain 3, then we'll place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then the following stitch we'll place 2 double crochets both in the same stitch. And that will be our repeat around. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 2 double crochets in the next stitch. After that, keep repeating that around. Join with the slip stitch at the end. You'll have 60 stitches for round 5. If you are working a medium large adult size hat, you'll need to do 1 more round of increases up to 72 stitches. So you'll begin the same way with your chain 3 or alternative. and then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then place 2 double crochets in the following stitch. Then your repeat around is 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches, 2 double crochets in the following, and you'll have 72 stitches with a circle that is about 7 1/4 inches across. Okay, here we are at the end of the round, and we're just going to join with the slip stitch to finish this round. Once your circle is increased to the size you need for your hat size, it's time to work on the sides. Now for every round, we'll just place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. We start with our chain 3 or alternative like I'm doing here, and then we place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. When we get to the end of the round, we will join with the slip stitch and then continue. For baby 0 to 3 month size, you will complete your rounds through round 17, or your hat is about 8 inches tall. For baby 3 to 6 months, you will complete your rounds through 18 or 8.5 inches tall. For baby 6 to 12 months, go through round 19 for 9.25 inches tall. Toddler size goes through 20 rounds for 9.5 inches tall. Preschool also through rounds 21 for 9.5 inches tall. Child size will go through rounds 21 for 10.25 inches tall. Teen or small adult goes through rounds 22 for 10.5 inches tall. Then the medium and large adult will be through rounds 22 for 11 inches tall. Once your hat is as tall as required for our slouchy fit, then you just need to finish off. Now here I'm finishing up my first round of double crochets around, so I place 1 double crochet in the last stitch and then join with the slip stitch. Then I'm ready to start my next round. Now you can see my hat is already starting to cup in like that. That's exactly what we want when making a hat, because we're not increasing anymore. It will cup in. Now we're working the round, which means we're looking at the right side, so we'll have to flip it right side out once we are finished, or you can do it now in case you forget. Okay, so once your slouchy hat is as long as you like, the men's size is about 11 inches tall here, you can add a round of single crochets to finish off. You don't have to, but to do so you would chain 1 and then single crochet in the same stitch and in each stitch around. Then join with the slip stitch to that first single crochet. Then you're going to pull up a long loop and cut your yarn and weave in your ends. So to weave in your ends, you need your yarn needle. Remember, if you use the magic circle, it slips open and closed, so you want to pull it tightly closed and then start by going in the same direction around that you were crocheting around so that you're pulling it closed. So if you pull on and it closes, go that direction. Then you can weave it back and forth, up and down, and all of that to make sure it's really secure. And it's okay to leave a little bit longer tail on the inside. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this simple slouchy hat, and please visit christacodesign.com.